To download Shotcut, go to the Shotcut website, link in the description, go to downloads, and download the 64 Windows installer. When searching up Shotcut, sometimes when searching Shotcut up, it will not say shotcut.org. If it does not say this, do not download or go to that website. Once the installer has finished, just click on it and allow it to use administrator permissions. Then click I agree next and install, and wait for the installer to finish. Once Shotcut has finished downloading, click close, go and search up Shotcut and run the application. So now that you have Shotcut open, go to open file, select the video that you want to open, and click open. Now what you're going to want to do is, here's your video, is click the plus button to add it down here to the timeline. And this will pretty much allow you to view your timeline. Click filters at the top of the screen to open up the filters. So now that you have filters open, you can edit your video. For example, I just recorded a quick video, and if we watch it, you will notice that it is very quiet, even almost at full volume. So what we can do to make the video louder is click the plus button in the filters here, and you can search up filters. For example, you search up volume, and you can click on it, and it'll add it. And then you can increase the volume. So now, the only downside to this is that there's a little bit of static. Another thing you can do is cut your video. So if we watch the video, I want to cut this part out. So what I can do is, if to move this like little white thing right here, which shows like where you're at in the video, you hold shift and you move your mouse just along here. So I want to cut out from right there. So if you right click where you want it, and you want to do split at playhead, and this will make 2 sections of the video. That's where it'll start, and then you just want to move it to where there, and that's when it stops. Split at playhead, and you can delete this whole section and move this up to here. So now it's cut out, and if we watch it, it's fixed. If you right click in this empty space or on this yellow part, you can do add a video track. So as you see, there's another track. Whatever one of these tracks is on top will be priority. So if I were to add an image here, it would overlap onto the video since it's got priority. To open a photo or overlay a photo, go to open file, and once you have your photo selected, click open. And it's just a picture of my dog. I can click and I can drag it, and this is where it'll overwrite. So it'll overwrite the section. So as you see, if we go through this section, it gets overlapped. So what you can do is, say it's there for a too long amount of time, you can take it and you can shorten it. You can shorten like the duration that it shows the actual picture. So now it only shows it for that small amount of time. And I'm just gonna put this here so you can see it. And it's on top, so it'll overlay since it's got priority. But let's say you wanted to see both. You could add a filter and you can add an opacity right there. With the opacity, you can change how far you can see through it. So if I go to 50% opacity, you can see 50% of what's behind it and 50% of the picture. And that's how you can see it. If you wanted to rotate it, you just type in rotation and scale. Now you can rotate it, but like a certain amount of degrees, but I'm just going to go to 90 or 270 to put it upright. You can change the scale as well as where the actual image is. So this is like a little bit harder to do since you can't just go over here and move it, but you can add, subtract on the X or the Y. And so what I can do is I can leave it there, and I can go back to the opacity layer and turn it up a little bit. I can add another layer and do a color grading. So what I can do with this is I can change the different things. The highlight is like that, and you can mess with this, and you can also adjust the colors here. And if you're ever in your video and this happens, just click off the keyframes onto the timeline. So now if we look during that segment, it'll it'll show that. And another thing we can do is audio. What you could do is right click and you can add an audio track. Now for an audio track, is even if it's a video, it'll still work. Let's open a video. So for example, I'm just gonna open a random video. Okay, so here it is. I can put it in this audio here. I don't need any of that extra, so I can move it right there, split it playhead, delete all the extra. And then what I could do here is I could click on this, and let's say it's too loud. I can add a filter and then do volume and turn it down a little bit. Is if you right click and then it's a little bit more quieter now. But what I wanted to do is make it go up. So I want to make it slowly increase. So you can do this in two ways. You can do it by section or you can do the whole video. So what I'm going to do is split it, select this section, and add, and I'm going to add a filter by going to this audio and selecting either the fade in or fade out audio. I'm going to add the fade in audio so it gets a little bit louder. I can click on this and I can adjust it to, well, do that. So now, if we play it, okay, to overlay, it's kind of hard to hear it there, but that would work for music or anything. So if you're doing transitions, you could do some fade in, fade out audio. If you wanted it to be louder, you can go onto it and adjust this to make it louder. Okay, to overlay, and it'll get quieter. So that's another way you can edit the audio for audio. Now, if the main video has audio and you don't want the audio to be there, for example, you can hear me push this button. Overlay something, what you want to do. Let's say you wanted that button press to be a little bit louder. The easiest way of doing this, so you just selected the button, is doing that, because you can see like that little audio wave there. Select the layer and add a volume gain. And you can either make it louder, make it quieter, but if you want it to be just completely gone, add a mute, and it'll add there. So if you notice now, to overlay something, what you want to do is there was no audio there. So that's how you mute certain segments of audio. I wanted to zoom in on a certain part of the screen, so let's go over here, and we want to zoom in on that lever. So right there, I'm gonna split up playhead, and we're gonna go to let's just go to there. We could take this segment and add a crop. Now with the crop, it's a little finicky on how it works. Pretty much what you can do is you can take some. Hold on, yeah, I'll make sure it's in there. You can take some away from the top. So let's go to like to there. Take some from the bottom. Going on the left. Oops, going on the right. That's how you can crop it if you want. It's perfect. We're cropped in, and let's say we wanted to point something out. Add a text. Add a text on screen. I want it to be middle, so I can select middle here. And instead of doing the time code, like the time in the video, I'm just gonna type hi. Look here. And then from here, it's kind of freeform with the text. You can just move it. Look here. So in Shotcut, there really isn't a way to add shapes. What I would recommend doing is if you have Photoshop, opening a picture of an arrow and erasing all the background, and then you can insert the image like we did here. I'm not going to spend the time to do that, but that is something you could do. Or find an arrow with no background, go to here and insert the image like we did, and position how you want. Now what you can do with the pictures is, I'm going to use this one as an example. It's called size and proportion. So if you're playing a video game that is recorded in 4:3, like 4:3 aspect ratio, you could edit the aspect ratio here. you can distort it and you can fit it. So if I distorted it, I could, how to fit it, how I do it, and you see, if I distort it, I can distort the image, make it look different. So now that you have your project done, this was just an example, so I'm not going to actually do anything with this. You can either save it to edit it later, or you can export it to upload it to YouTube. Clicking export will bring you to this screen. Just click the advanced button, and the format, just scroll down to the M's and find MP4. Make sure it is an MP4. If it's an MP3, it'll be an audio. If it's an MP4, it'll be video. You can change the resolution and the aspect ratio. So I don't want it to be this, I actually want it to be 1920 by 1080. Resolution, aspect ratio, that. Frames per second, 60. You can go through that, make sure everything's good. After you have everything how you want it, you can also go in and edit this if you wanted to. Just go ahead and click export and export it as a .mp4. So I was just going to export this as a test.mp4 and save it. And over here, this jobs thing will pop up and it will say the percentage done. So once this has finished, you can go to YouTube and upload it as a MP4 file. And the whole thing has just now been compressed. So we can go to videos and test.mp4. Okay, and now that we have the video, I'll just leave it up here and I'll let you view it. Okay, to overlay something, what you want to do is if you right click and then split it playhead, right click somewhere else, and to like move this around. So that's just a little clip. The audio in the background was from some other videos that might come out soon or might not. So that is a basic tutorial on how to use Shotcut. If you have any questions, if something's not working, please leave it in the comments below. I will make some more advanced tutorials later. But thanks for watching.